This channel is supported by its members. Thank you all very much. If you want to support this content, please do consider becoming a member. Well, hasn't it been a hot minute? I've been rather busy, and as such have fallen behind on this Wayward Realms thing that I've been so hyped about all year. And from what I can tell, it's looking like we might be getting this at the beginning of next year rather than the end of this one, but that's okay. That's okay. Guys, just make it good. However, there is something that has been brought up multiple times about this product that has been a thorn in the side of what I would call a more hardcore gaming audience. And people that actually take note of engines and patterns within the industry attached to those engines. And in this case, it's Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 is known as being kind of buggy, kind of samey, sort of the cookie cutter engine that everyone is using. And now I might be completely wrong in assuming this, but I believe that the Unreal team actually offers bonus payouts for the use of the engine should you produce a product with it. I might be incredibly wrong on that point, so do correct me down below in the comments. And while you're here, go ahead, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and do leave me a comment about how you feel about this news. And that is that the once lost game devs team has moved away from Unreal Engine 5 for the upcoming Wayward Realms. This is something that I've seen in the Discord be spoken about ad nauseum. Many of the comments on my previous most popular videos with thousands of views about the Wayward Realms have been negative comments due to the Unreal Engine being used in this game. Now, earlier on in the year, well, it wasn't that early on actually, it was about a month ago, if that, I actually released a devlog breakdown for the Wayward Realms. And in that video, they said they were moving away or decoupling certain systems from Unreal Engine 5 in order to be able to simulate millions of NPCs across a map that is itself 2.5 times the size of my country, Great Britain. And I will now go ahead and read this post just verbatim because I haven't actually read it yet. I saw this pop up. It's quite late at night here for me. I sat down to play some games, and here we are with a bit of Wayward Realms news that is bite-sized and easy for my schedule at the moment. So here we go. After reviewing the many thoughtful comments we received, we've made a major but exciting decision. We are fully transitioning away from Unreal Engine and building our own proprietary engine. This move gives us the control and flexibility needed to deliver the experience you've told us you want. Over the past few weeks, our entire focus has been on developing this new engine, and we're thrilled to say that we will have something to show you soon with a new devlog showcase planned for early in the new year. There we are. No early access this year, chaps. F in the chat. Shifting to our own engine is a major step, and while it positions us to deliver a far better game, it also means we won't be able to meet the end of year goal we previously set. Our new target is to release our Kickstarter backers in June of next year, with a public early access release following a few months later. We also want to remind you that we'll be hosting our live Ask Me Anything on Wednesday, December 3rd, and we invite you all to join us and ask any questions you have about the new engine and the road ahead. Thank you again for the trust, enthusiasm, and insight you continue to share with us. Stay tuned. Big things are coming. Ho ho! June, ladies and gentlemen. June. That's going to be a little bit difficult for me because I will have a bouncing baby on my lap whilst I play this game. Oh, man. I was hoping that it would be released before he was born so that I could, while away those hours waiting for the labor with some dungeon delving in the new Wayward Realms. Alas, it is not to be so. However, June is a month that we are now nailed to with Victor and Michael and the rest of them over at Once Lost Games. And it also gives me a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra wiggle room to work on a larger project that I have been tinkering away at in the background. Oh, don't think I've forgotten about the Wayward Realms for a second. It's simply that my areas of interest expand to all of genre fantasy, not simply complaining about video games on the internet and saying that Wayward Realms is actually the answer to all of our woes and concerns and will revolutionize the industry. Although I think Wayward Realms will revolutionize quite a bit if it is successful in what it sets out to do. Of course, there is another part to this that we'll go ahead and have a look at. The new engine allows them to achieve 30 plus FPS on decade old laptops without dedicated GPUs, giving us excellent performance even on low end hardware. This is something that I was concerned about because if you are. The Unreal Engine is, shall we say, rather chunky. And I think it's I run a 4070. My PC was built to play Starfield when that came out. And even though it's a little bit outdated now, more than 2 years old, Starfield was 2 years ago. Even though my PC is a little bit out of date, I actually do get frame rate drops in certain areas on Starfield, but that's because it's an unoptimized mess in certain areas. But there are other games that sort of concern me. Oblivion, the remastered edition, every now and again would get a little bit of a hang up. And don't get me started on the absolute fiasco that was Fallout 4's anniversary edition update and the next gen update as well, which meant I had to do all sorts of black magic in order to get a stable frame rate where the physics actually worked rather than went haywire. But that's another video on the channel. You can go and watch me complain about Fallout 4 for a bit. Load iJar, a static map 4 times the size of Manhattan in under 1 second, providing an almost instant start. Hallelujah. Hallelujah indeed, because that is another thing. If you're going to go from one cell to another, and I'm not sure if we're going to be having sort of seamless transitions from building to open world map, I would imagine, and I don't want to blow the whistle too soon here. I would imagine there would be some cell transitions and loading screens between dungeons and the overworld, although that is not confirmed. I'd probably need to ask them about that. The loading times of certain games, such as Fallout 4, are absolutely immeasurably eternal. And I'm really looking forward to a game that is just snappy, get in and play. This actually brings me to another worry that I have about this, the trend that modern games go on. But I'm hoping the Wayward Realms avoids this pitfall because its DNA is a lot more TTRPG than it is modern video game. I actually just booted up Space Marine 2 for the first time this evening, and I couldn't just jump into a multiplayer horde mode lobby with some friends. I had to play through the first tutorial mission, then I had to go through another story cutscene and lots of splash screens of logos that couldn't be skipped. Getting into the game was a chore. However, I'm hoping that when you press new game and you've pressed the final create character button, you will just be dropped on iJar with very little ceremony and sent on your merry way. That is my hope, but we shall see, and I'm sure mods can sort it if it is not the case. The alternate start mod for Skyrim and Oblivion is beautiful. Loads the entire engine in roughly 300 milliseconds, which allows extremely fast iteration and has already more than doubled our development speed. Christ be praised. These people are now cooking with gas. June cannot come soon enough. Offer full community modding support for everything outside the core systems, using a public scripting language inspired by C# as a tribute to the Daggerfall Unity community. Once Lost Games. It is such a breath of fresh, minty mountain air to hear that, because the Daggerfall Unity community is utterly stellar. That game is just a little bit younger than me, and I'm 30. And there are so many mods being brought out by people truly in love with this idea of a procedurally generated sandbox RPG with massive heaping helpings of TTRPG DNA, that it is such a thriving modding scene for that game. I would almost hate for this game to come out and basically kill the Daggerfall modding community, because this game, if it sets out to be as easily accessibly moddable as possible, promises us infinite content. I myself have considered offering my quill to this game when mods are available to be done, and designing a few quests here and there. As a long-time dungeon master myself, ever since the early days of high school, I might be able to spin a yarn or two that is somewhat entertaining to play through. The only issue I really have is I haven't properly modded a game personally, built a mod from the ground up since the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And even then, I stuck that thing together with sellotape and chewing gum, and it was not very well done. But that was young Jack. That was little Jack. Jack's a lot older now, a lot more life experience. But all in all, this is an incredibly positive, although bittersweet with a delay to the release date, update from the Once Lost Games team. I do absolutely implore all of you to go over to the Once Lost Games YouTube channel and subscribe and set a notification for the Ask Me Anything that's happening on Wednesday, I believe, the 3rd, I think. Should we just double check that while I've got things up, Jack? That would probably be a very good idea, Jack. December the 3rd, this Wednesday. I'm not sure if I will be able to do it. Depends on how the time zones align. But I think this means that the little project I've been tinkering around with perhaps the opportunity for those of you that do not have access to the early access with the rest of us backers might be able to change something with. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, subscribe for more. Leave me a comment down below. Are you positive or are you negative about what is happening here? I myself, as you can tell, am incredibly positive because I am sick and tired of being negative about AAA games, and I want Once Lost Games to come up as a dark horse from behind and win it all. I have bet the farm on this horse. Don't let me down, guys.